It's BourbonBlog.com live, and we're bringing you more friends of ours from Nashville, Tennessee. We had Nashville last night. We have Nashville again tonight. So many great products being made in Tennessee, and this, to me, is one of the most unique flavored whiskeys, infused whiskeys that I've ever had. I think you guys are really rocking it out with the Standard Proof Whiskey Company, and greetings, y'all. Robert, Bob, and Ashley joining us live. How y'all doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. Good stuff. So this stuff is very exciting. I had tried the which one had I tried? The Red Eye Rye is what I tried first last year at a local liquor store. They said they were sampling it. They said you got to try some of this and this coffee infusion. And then you have a bunch of other ones. Tell us about Standard Proof Whiskey Company. Who are you? What do you do? And what makes this stuff so unique? This stuff is really good.
For sure. Well, thank you again for having us on board. I'm Bob. This is Robert.
All right.
We kept the name simple, cocktail complex, but so Standard Proof is kind of a new riff on rye whiskeys, using the natural ingredients to influence the whiskey, similar to how wood influences the whiskey. And Robert here is responsible for how this all came about. And he'll tell the story much better than I will, so I won't take too much of that time. But as a bartender, he was infusing whiskey behind the bar. And you mentioned Red Eye, so maybe Robert could talk a little bit about that. That was our first product and something that he created behind the bar.
Cool. Yeah, just a background things. My name is Robert, I'm creative director. Bartending is my background. I bartended for 10 plus years in Nashville at different spots around town. And Red Eye Rye was our first product, and it actually started off as something I was making behind the bar at a local spot called Josephine in town. I ran the bar there for 4 plus years. And I was actually taking coffee beans and infusing it in rye whiskey, adding things like honey and vanilla to almost make like a little after dinner sipper or a shot for buddies that came in, that kind of thing. So that's how the first product came about.
Wow. And the name of the place there in Nashville that you were doing this at is called what?
Josephine.
Okay. I feel like I've heard of that or been there at some point, because I did
great restaurant still around
through Nashville quite a bit. And so you would take the coffee beans and put them in the rye whiskey.
Exactly, yeah.
And how long would you do that for? And what would come next? Would you have some cocktails you would do from there, or just do it by itself, or?
Yeah, so coffee infuses really quickly. It usually takes between 6 and 8 hours to get all the coffee flavor out of the bean. So the rye whiskey itself is what actually pulls all those oils, botanicals, and everything from the coffee bean and creates this really rich, kind of nice after dinner sipper. Great in cocktails as well. Good in like White Russians, obviously, or Manhattans, but started off as just sort of a standalone after dinner sipper, sort of like an Amaro.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. And so that's how this idea was born. The infusions came from you as a bartender, and then you said, what happened next? Then you said, hey, we gotta take this to more people.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where the whole born behind the bar thing comes from. We do that with all of our infusions, real ingredients, and it's definitely inspired by what every bartender is familiar with, just taking real ingredients, letting the rye whiskey do the work, or whatever you're infusing. So
right.
Yeah, and a little more background. So Red Eye was Robert's brainchild behind the bar, and we loved it. And Robert and I had done some work together, and we thought he couldn't make it fast enough for all of his patrons as kind of a bartender's handshake. And so we thought maybe we can make something out of this. And it was very challenging to take something that was fresh behind the bar and make it into a product that you could sell that wouldn't change over time. Because one of the challenges, especially with coffee, is that if you've ever had a cup of coffee that sat for a few days, it turns, right?
Right.
And so for us, it actually was a 2-year development process. And it went from everything from our mash bill, trying to figure that out, trying to figure out the right proof to bottle it at, and then the exact kind of ratio of the coffee and how long to let it rest in the whiskey. So a lot of trial and error. And eventually we came up with a process that has since been what we've done for all of our other infusions, where we rest for a specific period of time. We use fresh ingredients. So this is not, the vanilla extract that's poured into the bottle. This is fresh ingredients that are rested in the whiskey. And then we created a proprietary filtration process, primarily because coffee is really hard to get out of the whiskey. I mean, the particulates are very small. And so a labor of love that once we finally were able to figure it out, really created a wonderful product that is going to be the same if you cork it today or if you cork it in 2 years. So really proud of that. And it's been able to influence the other products that we've launched in the line since then.
Incredible stuff. And it's very exciting to see what you've done. And how do you refer to yours? Infused whiskeys, flavored whiskeys? What do you like for these to be called? How do you?
So we definitely view them as infused whiskeys. We don't love the word flavor just because we feel like that is typically something that's just put in from a flavor house, whatnot, and ours are using fresh, real ingredients that we rest in the whiskey and then pull out eventually. And so we like to call it an infused whiskey, but we are trying to take that flavored whiskey audience, give them something special, as well as a bourbon enthusiast or another type of whiskey enthusiast, and give them something that's a little different and makes a great old fashioned. Or I think you're drinking a Boulevardier. Is that what you have over there?
Yeah, we did so a lot of great recipes on the website, and I just since you were talking about the origins of your red eye rye, I poured just a little bit to remind myself just how amazing the complexity between the rye whiskey and the coffee is. Such amazing stuff. So what we saw was the stirred bird. We thought, which is sort of a riff on the Boulevardier. We said the stirred bird sounds good. So that's the golden rye, the pineapple rye with Campari and sweet vermouth, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
Boulevardier is definitely one of my favorite cocktails. All of our infusions are great, just in a classic Boulevardier. But the golden rye with the pineapple is definitely one of my favorites as well. So
I don't know if I've had some interesting riffs on like Negronis and Boulevardiers, but I don't know if I've ever had one that goes to the pineapple theme. But the pineapple really marries well with the vermouth, with the Campari, and really just gives something that that you don't really expect. I mean, it's really amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's sort of a marriage between a classic Jungle Bird cocktail and a Negroni or Boulevardier.
So this is really nice stuff. So that's the pineapple rye. So we tried a little of the coffee. The coffee's amazing. And is there a special? So the way that you did it, you said you found a way to make it to where it would last a while. It's proprietary. Is there anything at all you can tell us about? How long does it rest? What's the process like? The parts that are not secretive, how is that like for all these, the pineapple and all the flavors?
Yeah, I mean, so we rest them for different periods of time depending on which ingredient is going in. But what we do is we take rye whiskey that's in New American Oak. It tends to be just a little under 2 years. We want that nice rye spice that hasn't smoothed out completely so that it can compete a little bit with the infusions. We rest it for typically between 10 and 14 weeks. And then we filter it out with a proprietary process. There's no charcoal used or anything like that, but it's interesting in terms of the different filters that we use, and we do a number of different steps to that. And then we bottle it at 80 proof. And I think the 80 proof is really interesting because it can be the foundation of a cocktail like you're drinking. It's just a garnish or a shot like most flavored whiskeys are.
So it's already, I mean, the great thing I always say is whether it's flavored or infused. I know yours is infused whiskey. So again, for people watching, there's some people that enjoy flavored whiskey, some that don't. But no matter what, if you've tried any type of flavored whiskeys before, these are not like any really that I've ever seen. They're infused. You're actually putting real pineapples, real coffee into this rye whiskey. It's marrying together. The particles are in there swimming around just like whiskey ages, and then you're filtering it out. So none of that's left. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The flavor's there, but the particles are gone.
And Tom, you'd probably second this. It's more of a nuanced pineapple that you're tasting. It's not in the face pineapple. So our goal was to create a whiskey that had some, almost like some of the vanilla notes you'll get in a great bourbon. It's something like that where it was just something a little different. And so that's kind of where our products have ended up.
It is nuanced. It's delicate, and the fact that it's real, it's the real ingredient, really lets those real ingredients shine through, much like you would have had making a cocktail yourself with those ingredients, but with that chance for the rye whiskey and the elements in the whiskey to marry. a new thing has happened, and it's really beautiful stuff. So the pineapple, I've tried them all. I mean they're all just really exciting. They can go in so many directions. So the first one was the coffee, and then you released the rest of these the last year or two, or how did that all come about?
Yeah. So we had been working on a number of different infusions that Robert had played with over the years, and we had come up with 5. We tried a lot more than 5, but we had come up with 5 that we really liked, and actually took them to some of our key distributors, Southern Glazers around the country, and then Best Brands, and said, hey, which ones would you guys think would be hits in your markets? And they all came back and said, all of them. Let's do them all.
Let's do them all. Yeah.
So luckily we were able to have great launch partners and able to launch them in various markets. And I know you're in Indiana, and I believe Red Eye and Wildflower and Pecan are in Indiana.
Excellent.
And we're in a number of other markets, and mainly in the South.
Incredible stuff, and I love the branding too. I mean, I think it's just very eye-catching. It really is. It's very classy, and just really speaks to the fun, creative element of the brand. So, I mean, right away when I saw it, I was like, that looks incredible. I got to try. Coffee and rye. I think I actually saw it in one of the airports not too far away. So it kind of made sense. I think they were doing some sort of a red eye cocktail with it. So I was like, oh, that's fitting. It might have even been in the local airport. Okay, so we talked about pineapple coffee. Is there any order you like to do these in, or do we just grab the next one?
I mean, you can go down however you like. Wildflower rye, that's my personal favorite. Being born and raised in Tennessee, definitely familiar with honeysuckle and that time of year where all that stuff is growing in the backyard uncontrollably. So
it's actual honeysuckle infused into the rye whiskey.
Exactly. Yeah, it goes great with citrus, sort of a floral, semi-sweet, a little bit of fruit notes to it. But again, it's subtle, it's whiskey forward, so it's something to sip on, mixed with lemonade. That's what we're drinking. So
yes, I had a little sip of that yesterday, but I'm going to try another now. Honeysuckle, something that you see a lot in the South, as you were saying, and we see it around here as well. I don't know. There are some areas of the country that don't see honeysuckle. Is that correct?
Honestly, I feel like it's definitely a Southern thing.
I know it's a big in the South. I think there may be some areas of the country that don't see it. Hey, no matter what, it's giving you a taste of the South. Yeah. That's the fun part about flavors like this, is that we can travel through flavor. So, wow. So you take those honeysuckles, you put them in. Do you put them in a barrel, or where do you put them?
So it's actually, with the honeysuckle, it's kind of interesting. So we take the flowers and we almost make a tea out of it. So the flower pressed in there and really just bring that nice floral note that you're getting. That one is, it's really unique, and I think it marries really well with the rye.
It's so nice. That is really nice. Okay, so what kind of cocktails do we do with this one? What do you like to do with this one?
So wildflower lemonade's my favorite for sure. Definitely time of year for that, spring, summertime cocktail. We've got a frozen version here that we're sipping on. Classic whiskey sour, and even just adding like sparkling water to it. Just a classic rye whiskey highball. Call that flower water.
Right.
Really good.
That would have a lot of possibilities in cocktails where we see something where the floral can really speak, and I love the lemonade. So you're doing a frozen lemonade? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So you can kind of see
good
back there. Zoom in on this, but
that is cool. That is really cool.
Frozen whiskey lemonade, like you get at a state fair or something like that.
Yeah, really Southern. So this rye. Do you guys talk about the? Does the rye whiskey come from Tennessee? Is it sort of just one of those things you just? Do you talk about that at all?
Primarily, we get it from Kentucky, and we have a few different mash bills that we use. So this honeysuckle one's going to be lower rye. It's 51% rye and 45% corn. We wanted to give it a little bit more of that sweetness.
Right.
Whereas red eye, that's a 95% rye mash bill, because it kind of needs to be to compete with the boldness of the coffee.
Right.
So we do different mash bills and work with some great partners out in Kentucky, getting our rye whiskey. And then we bottle everything here in Tennessee.
Excellent. And so that's really a creative approach to actually take a specific mash bill for that flavor. So all these are a little bit different, or they're different in as far as what notes you're wanting to really have sing from the rye whiskey and from the flavors.
Yeah, we'd say go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've kind of tailored mash bills to fit specific infusions. The rest of the rye whiskeys outside of Red Eye are 51% rye, but Red Eye is unique in the fact that the coffee is by far the most bold ingredient that we have in the infusion. So it definitely called for a higher rye. I love rye whiskey. I love that kind of dry spice, and to me, it just pairs really well with coffee and things like that. So.
That is so nice. I think the honeysuckle is something so special, and the fact that these go into, I mean, I of course I enjoy bourbon, but I really also enjoy rye whiskey. These flavors are also bringing out other notes in the rye. It's just not the flavors that are speaking, but it's the rye whiskey that's speaking. It's allowing us to discover new elements of rye because there are so many interesting, different elements of rye we don't get in every whiskey.
Exactly. I'm glad you kind of brought that up, just because, you know, if you're a normal bourbon drinker, you can take the pecan rye, for an example, and someone who normally doesn't like rye whiskey or thinks that they don't like rye whiskey can try the pecan rye, and it has that kind of subtle sweetness, caramel brown sugar on the back that a classic bourbon drinker might enjoy. So you try that rye whiskey, and it's infused with real pecan, so it's something that you can get those like rye spice notes and pair them with the caramel and brown sugar on the back, and you kind of have something that it's a little bit more familiar, so it could be a good introduction to rye whiskey.
Absolutely. Should I reach for the pecan next? Is that what I should do?
Yeah.
I happen to have one here, the hickory rye pecan. These are Texas pecans, huh?
Yes. We source our pecans from San Saba, Texas, the self-proclaimed pecan capital of the world.
Cool.
Some folks in Georgia might disagree with that, but our Texas friends are adamant. It is and if you Google San Saba, it will say pecan capital of the world.
That is cool. Wow.
So I really enjoy this, but one thing I'd like to add to what Robert was saying is when he was first experimenting with these products, you know, there were versions that were with a bourbon or with a Tennessee whiskey, and rye really stands up to the flavor of these infusions better. And so rye is interesting because I think that it doesn't mask as much as maybe another whiskey would, and so you do get more of that whiskey aroma and kind of feel.
It allows the whiskey to come through, but also the flavors to do their part. I agree. I think that's part of what makes some cocktail, you know, doing a Manhattan or an old fashioned with rye just different altogether. Yeah. And now I'm tasting this by itself. The pecans it comes through in that real pecan nature. It's not just that, again, we know it's real pecans you put in this. This is that real pecan flavor. We've all had pecan flavored things. This is real pecans. It tastes so good in this. It's just so nice. And I happen to have also that my wife made for me upstairs. We have the old fashioned. So this is the pecan old fashioned that we made, and it's delicious. It's really good. Really nice.
For sure.
Yeah, so good. Any other favorites with the pecan that cocktails you like to do with it?
Classic Manhattan is hard to beat as well. Definitely pairs the pecan pairs incredible with vermouth. I heard you talking about the Carpano Antica earlier.
Yes.
That's a great vermouth to use for the pecan Manhattan for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We love that stuff. We have a lot of fun experimenting, and these are beautiful. I can see the possibilities are endless with all of these. Just so many fun ways to take the rye, to take a flavor, and build from there. So tasty. And again, several people asking where you can find these. You're in how many states? You may have mentioned it earlier, but tell us once again.
So we're in 10 states. We are in Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, Indiana, Texas. I mentioned Kentucky. Georgia, I mentioned. Illinois. We're in Illinois.
California.
We're in Michigan. We're in California Limited. Just Red Eye Rye is there. And we're in Oklahoma and Louisiana.
Nice. So some really great states and great markets to be in. And
online soon as well.
And which one?
Online soon as well.
Online.
So
be watching.
Yep. Partner with Drizzly and some other great online sources to buy where you can.
So definitely be watching. Standardproofwhiskey.com would be the best place to go to actually find the states and the new places coming, and we're going to taste some more of these, but we'll definitely continue to cover what you all are doing and write a review and just let everybody know these are the great places you can find that. There's the website, standardproofwhiskey.com. Follow them on social. They put up a lot of great inspiring cocktails on social media. That's partly how I first heard about it. After I was at the liquor store, I tried it, and then a little bit later I said, these guys have released a bunch of new flavors, which is incredible. So someone said from Georgia, they're going to look for you in Georgia. She said, or he said, sorry, now I'm pulling up Camden. Sorry about that. Camden and Atlanta said Georgia will be looking out for Standard Proof. So a lot of great people already looking for the whiskey. What restaurants can we pour 2 weeks in Nashville? What restaurants would you be in Nashville? Where would we be finding you? What kind of restaurants?
So Josephine is a great spot to go to. Outside of the food, the bar is fantastic. Hopefully things will be opening up relatively soon. That's the birthplace of Red Eye Rye.
Nice.
Where I ran the bar and came up with stuff. But Husk has a great selection, just a great whiskey selection in general. We're proud to be included in that. East Nashville, there's lots of places. Rosemary, Babo on the east side is a great Korean spot that has a frozen drink with our ginger rye. And some spots downtown, Lower Broadway, lots of the country music spots downtown have the Pecan rye. So
nice. So look all over Nashville. Go to Josephine, and the birthplace of the Red Eye Rye. And so that you just thought, let me just infuse something when you first made this to give a new flavor, or did it give you a little caffeine buzz too, or what happened?
Yeah, it definitely, because we use real stuff, we can't say it's caffeine free. There is a negligible amount of caffeine.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was looking for sort of like a bartender's secret weapon or something I could give guests as like an after dinner drink, and that's kind of where the inspiration came from. So just like having a standalone, pour out of the bottle, something a little bit different that people can enjoy by itself. So
I love that your secret weapon became a brand. I mean, that's super cool, and what a great story to inspire other bartenders and those looking to build new brands, and especially during this time. I mean, this is a time, I think, when restaurants, bartenders, servers are thinking of what's new, what's next, and you really went with an innovative spirit on this, and something amazing happened. So this is cool. Why don't you, and again, I mean, we know all around the country things are, and we've been trying to focus a little bit on these shows on what's happening with the restaurant shutdown, and just what's it been like for you guys, for your brand, as far as how you've told the story during COVID, and just any observations there as far as what's happening in Nashville.
Well, I mean, what I'd say for younger brands, it's just harder for us now to touch a consumer. We had a lot of outlets where consumers could try new products, could interact with what we're doing. And so there's a positive in this, in that we're finding new outlets to touch consumers. This is a great outlet to meet and interact with new consumers. I think we're going to have to figure out as a universe, but specifically as a brand, how to touch consumers online more, and do that in a way that is unique in this time. But I think what we've seen is the community really rallying around each other, and we've benefited from that, and we've also tried to participate in that. And I'm sure Robert can add a lot more than I can on it.
Yeah, it's been hard just coming from the restaurant industry, and that being pretty much all of my background is with 80+ years in the hospitality industry. Having that whole thing just take a nosedive, it's been hard to see. And I think there's a lot of cool things going on with Tennessee Action for Hospitality and independent restaurant groups that are trying to get more awareness about what's going on and money raised, et cetera. So there are things for people to look into, and contacting local leadership has definitely been helpful, and hopefully it'll be, fruitful in the end. So.
Right. No, that's so important what both of you are saying, and we're thrilled to be here every night. To hopefully introduce people to new and exciting brands. We've been doing this every night, I think, since COVID started. So this is like our 50-some show with you guys. We've tried something new and good every night. Awesome. We haven't skipped a night, and you'd been on my radar for a while, so I'm just thrilled that you all are with us. And for everybody who is joining, we'll just use this real quick as a chance just to tell you, every night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, BourbonBlog.com/live is the place to come. If you're enjoying this show, be sure you bookmark that page and just keep coming back so we can keep, sharing more great news about cool people like yourselves doing great brands. And it's exciting. And again, for those of you just joining us, it's Robert and Bob, Standard Proof Whiskey Company of Nashville. These are infused ryes. These are the real element, different flavors like the pineapple, like the coffee, that have actually gone into the rye to really expand, to infuse, to just to give their love to the rye, and then they filter it out. So this is the real flavor. Now, we just had, we were going to have Kentucky Derby 2 weeks ago, and it's now going to be in September, but we actually did a 6-hour long show with a whole bunch of different great people, from celebrities to horse experts and spirit experts. We did a 6-hour long show a couple Saturdays ago on what would have been Derby Day. And we made some mint juleps, and I love a good mint julep. This one is the Emerald Rye. I love the name too. Emerald Rye, fresh mint, which of course it makes, I know that's one of the cocktails here. It makes a great mint julep, but just even by itself, just that freshness that kind of brings out that spice and that freshness of rye. This is beautiful. I love this.
Glad you like it. It would be the perfect time to have that, given other circumstances with Derby coming up, and we have steeplechase here in Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Makes a great mint julep.
We can keep on telling people to drink this all the way to September and then drink it even after. Yeah. I see you do the Standard Proof mint julep. You do a mint mule with this, which kind of brings that spice with the herbalness of the mint.
Definitely.
Derby cola. I can imagine that a cola with this would be really good too. What else do you like to do with this?
Make a whiskey mojito is fantastic.
Oh man.
Some lemons in there, or make a whiskey smash, that kind of thing. With soda is great, and even doing unique stuff using the other infusions, doing like a split base with like a mint and ginger and topping with soda or ginger beer, that kind of thing. So
this is beautiful. I love this. This is really nice. So the mint that you all use, is it a particular type of mint, or do you change it up a little bit, or what kind of mint?
So we mainly use fresh mint that we can get locally. So it can vary a little bit, but we find that it really gives it that nice sharpness, and love that.
Really nice. Again, I love the fact that so many of these ingredients are from the South, where the rye comes from, to so many of the ingredients. You're really tasting some tastes of the South, no matter where you are in the country. It's a lot of good Southern goodness all in one. And then it can go on to create other amazing cocktails. So tasty. So, okay, I'm trying to remember where we've been here. Is the only one left? Is it the ginger? Is that the one we haven't done?
I think it is.
I think so.
I was about to say, I'm looking down the line here. The ginger root. Wow. So tell me about the ginger root.
Ginger root that is rested in the rye, and that's pretty much it. It's amazing. I think it really gives you bite. I really enjoy it with ginger beer just because I love ginger. But it's nice on its own. And as Robert mentioned, mix that with a little mint, you've got yourself almost a cocktail on its own. It's delicious.
Just put a little bit of mint with that.
Well, our mint rye actually.
Oh, the mint rye. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So you would actually put ginger and the mint together.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, I already had maybe a little element of that mint left there. So let's see. Wow.
You can add an important thing here too. Ginger is actually an antioxidant, and it boosts the immune system. So I feel like that could be
COVID friendly,
appropriate for.
It could be. Yeah, it could be very. It truly is. That's some serious ginger. Like that's like.
Does it go well with the rye? The spice of the ginger and the rye really work well together, and they almost meld together in a really neat way.
They do, and when you think about just that fresh ginger, as and many of us just having it whenever we were having Asian cuisine or a little sushi and a little ginger on the side, and that crispness of the ginger, how it expands the mouth with that spiciness of the rye, just really it's really refreshing too.
Oh yeah.
These are all incredibly exciting. It's a very unique and special brand. And if you're watching and you're a rye whiskey fan, or you're just a whiskey fan and you like cocktails and you just like fun flavors that lead you new places, definitely check these guys out. I just think it's a well thought brand, from the product to the people to the branding. Everything about it's really cool. I noticed on the on your website there's this snow cone cart. Is that something that you guys go do, or is that just an image, or what am I looking at when I see that?
I think what you're referring to is our sidecar bar. So
Okay, tell me about that, because it looks kind of like you're gonna make snow cones or drinks or something.
So we could actually probably take a walk over and see it.
Oh yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So what we have is the world's first sidecar motorcycle. It's been turned into a bar here. It's a fully functional bar. We've got a Euro motorcycle with a sidecar.
A
Nice.
little dark.
In the bar back here, if you can see it, it's a little.
Now I see. I just had seen the image and I was like, I wonder what that is. I'm glad you're showing this to me. This is super cool.
Yeah, we've actually got two of them in here. This is our soon to open downtown Nashville distillery, and it's also a motorcycle parking garage right now.
Oh wow! So so you have some bikes parked there, and it's going to be your distillery. You're going to be opening it sometime in the near future.
Yeah, it's actually we're scheduled to open here in the next, as soon as we can, and this is actually an old corset factory. So they made women's corsets, and really cool tall ceilings, old brick, beautiful wood floors, and we're gonna make whiskey in here, and
love it.
We'll have a bar that guests can come in and check. We're actually just a couple blocks off of Broadway downtown, so really neat space and a great place for people to interact with our brand. We'll have some limited release whiskeys here as well, some straight ryes also.
That's exciting. So, when do you have any idea like when we should be looking forward to that happening, or?
Well, everything kind of on hold right now. I mean,
sure.
June, July for sure. So that's our goal. We're ready to go though. We want to serve people. We want to get people in here and give them the experience that you're having right now. Yeah,
this is it's very exciting. And again, that will be whereabouts, and for those that know Nashville, whereabouts is that?
We're on 5th Avenue near Church, so we're 2 blocks off of Broadway, right downtown, very close to where the Nashville Predators play in the Bridgestone Arena.
Yeah, very nice. Used to be an old corset factory. That's incredible. That's really interesting. So we'll be looking forward to rye whiskeys, the distillery, a bar experience. This will be an experience, I presume, that people can just come and enjoy and have a tour and everything.
Yeah, we'll be serving cocktails, tasting flights, selling bottles, kind of doing the whole thing, and just really trying to help that consumer understand the brand. And for those that know whiskey, I think they'll really enjoy it. For those that don't, it's a great way to get to know whiskey in a very kind of relaxed and fun way.
That is too cool. You guys have done such a great job with this. And go ahead.
Tom, I'll mention is
go ahead, for sure.
Is born behind the bar. And actually, the bar that Ashley showed you was built by Robert. So not only did he create infusion, but he actually, with his own hands, built this bar. So we are sitting next to a Renaissance man right here.
You've done it all. Well done. That is exciting. That's a great looking space, great looking bar. The bikes. That's it's really fun to see where distilleries end up. How did you all decide on that space? How did that happen?
So a friend of mine has had the building for a long time, and there's 3 floors to the building, studio above us, and then there's some lofts on the top floor, and it's always been a space that has kind of been in our back pocket on it'd be cool to have a retail spot there, and just recently we kind of negotiated everything and made everything happen, and we're excited to open up. So.
Congratulations. Can't wait to hear more and hopefully get to your opening and just see it when it all happens. And just a solid product line, everything from honeysuckle to coffee to pecan, pineapple, mint, and ginger. That's a really solid lineup. You all have only been out for how long again? When did you start the brand?
Just our newest infusions, the last 5 have launched about 6 months ago, and launched just about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, to only have been out for 2 years to do something so new and creative, and to have 6 releases, that's really incredible. So very exciting. I would almost say, what's the next flavor going to be? But you already have 6 flavors. It's not that you need one more, but is there one you're working on?
Well, right now we're really focused on doing some tasting room only straight ryes.
Sure. Okay, nice.
Letting them age just a little bit longer and giving the guests what we like in a rye. I mean, so having Robert's background as a bartender, we want something that you can drink and enjoy and be approachable. And so doing that tasting room only and likely just leaving that there. But we're working on some cool new infusions that we'll have to get back on your show again to tell you about.
I would love to have you back.
We've got our hands full with 6, though.
I can see. That's why I said I almost don't even want to ask, but I'm curious because these 6 are so good. So well done with 6. There's so much you can do with 6, and we're going to have a lot of fun experimenting with these and look forward to seeing you all hopefully in the very near future. And thank you all so much for taking some time tonight to talk with us on BourbonBlog.com. And whether you're in Nashville or in Tennessee, stop by, see these guys once they have their place open, and look for across the country all these beautiful flavors, and go to their website as well, which I'm going to put up here one more time just so everyone can follow it. standardproofwhiskey.com. This is great stuff. I'm sure there's so much more great innovations ahead for you all, and congratulations and thank you for what you're doing for whiskey. It's very, very unique and special with these true infusions.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff. I really like it. Thanks, guys, and definitely stay well, and we will see you soon in Nashville. And thanks to all who tuned in, and we'll see everyone back here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be interviewing our friends from Breckenridge Distillery in Breckenridge, Colorado.
Awesome.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.